It's Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. My name is Pam, and welcome to the reading of the Record Courier. We will begin with the area death. Sean Michael Fincham, 21 of Kent, died on January 29th. He was born on July 19, 1999 in Ravenna. Calling hours will be held Wednesday, February 3rd from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bisler & Sons Funeral Home. Face masks and social distancing will be required. Stella De Maria of Ravenna passed away on January 27th. A celebration of life will be held at a later date. Her final resting place will be at St. Mary's Cemetery in Ravenna. That concludes the area deaths for today. So here's our first article. New Portage Sheriff raises salaries for top staff. Eyes purchase of 20 new cruisers. By Diane Smith. After granting raises to top brass and buying a new truck for himself, Portage County's new sheriff now is seeking an expanded fleet of cruisers and a wage study for the deputies in his department. Portage County Commissioners discussed the latest requests from Sheriff Bruce Zukowski last week. They include consulting services and a wage study by Clemens Nelson and Associates, the same firm hired for a wage study for the county in 2018. Commissioners agreed to fund the Clemens Nelson agreement at a cost of $20,000, but delayed a decision on 20 new cruisers until Zukowski addresses commissioners this week. Commissioners Sabrina Christian Bennett noted that Zukowski emailed commissioners about the cruisers the night before the board's meeting. "It's like, where is all this money coming from?" she questioned. Bragg said the sheriff would like each deputy to have a vehicle. Right now, he said, each cruiser is driven 24 hours a day, with as many as 3 deputies driving each car during their shift. While that would reduce wear and tear on each vehicle, as well as reduce maintenance, each vehicle would still be driven a lot, and the slight reduction in mileage would not significantly increase the car's value, Bragg said. Commissioner Tony Badalamenti noted that there have been cases of COVID-19 among the deputies, and it may not be wise for multiple deputies to drive the same car. "That's a maintenance nightmare to keep the cars running 24 hours a day," he said. Zukowski purchased a new truck for himself at a cost of $38,846.60, plus about $5,600 to customize the truck to law enforcement. The sheriff also set salaries for his top brass. Chief Deputy Ralph Spitarelli earns $104,000 annually compared to $79,177 that was paid to his predecessor, Dale Kelly. Major Larry Limbert earns $94,000, $18,000 more than his previous salary of $76,436. And Commander Gary Smith earns $74,000, up from $69,241 salary as a captain. Captains Eric Dreger and Rich Nolan each earn $84,000. Joanne Towand, Director of Internal Services, said the union that represents deputies heard about the salary increases for administrators and has demanded action. If they don't start negotiating and working with them, they're going to file a grievance, and they're trying to keep that from happening. Commissioner Vicki Klein agreed that wages for deputies should be looked into. Doak was given the opportunity to participate in county's 2018 wage study but declined, as did other elected officials. "We've known for years that they were underpaid out there," Klein said. "However, I do believe that this sheriff has been treated different than the previous sheriff. When the former sheriff came to us, he got blank stares and criticism." Todd Brad, Director of Budget and Financial Management for the county, said the sheriff didn't need commissioners to approve purchases such as the truck and administrative raises as long as he stays within his budget. "The assumption is he'll find a way to save money," he said. The county's 0.25% sales tax expired at the end of 2020. The Sheriff's Department, as well as the Probation Department, previously received funding from the sales tax. Up next, Reminderville Council okays flood study proposal by Ken Lamers. Reminderville Village Council took the following action at its January 12th and 26th meetings. Accepted the proposal of OHM advisors to conduct a flood study for portions of the village and prepare an engineering report at a cost not to exceed $89,000. Authorized OHM advisors to provide construction services for the 2021 paving program at a cost not to exceed $82,000, and accepted OHM advisors' proposal to research easements in the Aurora Shores subdivision and create an overall easement map at a cost not to exceed $11,900. Hired Jessica Rockhill as Director of Operations for the Reminderville Athletic Club at an annual salary of $76,000, and Jordan Battle as a front desk associate at a rate of $9.25 per hour. Rockhill's hiring is effective February 8th. Retained the services of Paul Carpenter as an independent contractor for legal services at a cost not to exceed $30,000. Amended a previous resolution to clarify the terms and conditions of those eligible to receive COVID-19 hazard pay. Accepted the resignation of Adam Seville from the fire department effective January 2nd. Hired Matthew McCosey and Jason Wells as part-time firefighter paramedics at the rate of $21.74 per hour, and accepted the voluntary reduction in rank from captain to firefighter paramedic for Richard Kotzman. Confirmed the appointments of Thomas Plunkett, Benny Jones, Matthew Miller, and Mark Kondick to the Volunteer Firefighters Dependents Fund. Transferred $39,495 from the general fund to the Ohio Public Works Commission Debt Fund. Moved to third reading of resolution authorizing the Civil Service Commission to conduct promotional tests for the ranks of lieutenant and captain in the fire department. Moved to second reading a resolution authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy's Council's Energized Community Grants in 2021. And now let's talk about getting COVID-19 vaccination appointments, a mixed bag at best, by Bob Gadgens. Portage County residents are reporting mixed results in their efforts to get registered and obtain appointments to get the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. Among them are Clifford, 74, and Mary Jane Bliss, 73, of Kent, who have registered but don't yet have appointments through university hospitals. In the meantime, there's been a couple of stories in the Record Courier and Beacon Journal about a number of places locally where we could call, says Clifford. Since we normally do shopping at the Giant Eagle and Stowe, we called there. When they called, he said there was a pre-recorded message saying the store doesn't have the vaccine. He said the couple is successfully registered at UH. Marianne Katakis, Portage County Health Department nurse, prepares doses of the COVID-19 dose during a recent health department clinic. I did get an email from them saying that we're on the waiting list for an appointment and we were pre-registered, but they would be unable to specify when we'd be contacted for an appointment due to scarcity of the supply. Joseph Diorio, health commissioner for the Portage County Combined General Health District, said the main problem the area faces is a lack of vaccine doses. Our vaccine supply is very limited, so we've had a very limited rollout, he said. When we do our appointment-only clinics, we're scheduling around 25 per 15 minutes. We're basically going through about 100 individuals in an hour. Clifford said the couple would go wherever they can get an appointment first. Based on Facebook comments from nearly 80 area residents, the Blisses case is fairly typical. Lots of area residents commented they'd signed up in multiple places and hadn't heard back or only heard back recently. However, there were some who responded they had received appointments for vaccinations. This entire process is horrible, Judy Sharp wrote on Facebook. I have been trying to get the vaccine for my soon-to-be 91-year-old father, and nothing. No help from anyone. Nothing nearby. We are signed up everywhere with no response. I check multiple places each day, and nothing is available, even semi-close for us. However, There are some, like Cindy Mishler, who've experienced success. She registered her mother at several pharmacies and the Portage County Combined General Health District and heard back from two places, one of the Giant Eagle stores and Discount Drug Mart. Giant Eagle also scheduled her for her second dose. I found it very easy. I'm disappointed I didn't hear back from the health department to this day. Diorio said he's devoted quite a bit more staff to answer phones, adding he's discussing the possibilities of setting up a phone bank through Kent State University. Diorio said he's glad seniors and their adult children are signing up at multiple pharmacies in addition to the health department. People wait to get the COVID-19 vaccine during Portage County Health Department vaccination clinic. However, if they register at several locations and get an appointment at one of them, Diorio said it would be helpful if people would call back the other locations to let them know they have an appointment for vaccination elsewhere. We know that's not always going to happen, he said. However, he said the health department has a system in place to call people registered who can come on short notice for vaccination if there's a no-show for some reason. It could be that they didn't feel good that day, that they didn't have a ride that day, he said. That's why we've created this immediate response list. Because the shelf life of the vaccine is limited due to a need to keep it cold, he said the department has to act fast so doses aren't lost. Diorio said the health department is doing its best to make sure the registration process via phone and internet isn't a bottleneck to getting the vaccines out quickly. He said more phones have been added and staff have been pulled off their regular duties to man the phones as needed. The state also is considering creating a statewide registration process. But the whole process is just slower than what area residents want, he acknowledged. We're fortunate to be a position where we're getting vaccines, said Diorio. It's just not coming as fast as everyone wants it. People have to just kind of temper their expectations. We're going to get there. Up next, Flash's standout kicker Trickett enters transfer portal by Alan Moff. Kent State kicker Matthew Trickett announced via social media on Monday that he has entered the transfer portal. After talking to my friends, family, and coaches, I have decided that it's in my best interest to graduate transfer from Kent State, Trickett tweeted. Thank you all again for all the love and support you've given me these past 3 years. Forever a Golden Flash. Trickett has been a standout kicker for the Golden Flashes since joining the program in 2018 after earning all Ohio honors at Cleveland St. Ignatius High School. He was the first team All-Mid-American Conference selection as a freshman after hitting 14 of 17 field goals. Then was chosen MAC Special Team Player of the Year as a sophomore in 2019 after kicking a school record 29 field goals, which tied for first in the nation. Trickett tied a bowl record and set a school record with 5 field goals in Kent State's 51-41 Frisco Bowl victory over Utah State, and kicked game-winning field goals against Kennesaw State and Buffalo. Last year, Trickett converted 4 of 6 field goal attempts for the Flashes, who were limited to just 4 games in 2020 due to COVID-19 issues. This next article, Aurora building projects declined significantly in 2020 by Ken Lamers. Possibly because of the coronavirus situation, the total value of residential, commercial, and industrial building projects in the city hit at least a 6-year low in 2020 and was down nearly $20 million from 2019. The final 2020 figures were released recently by the Planning Zoning Building Department. Overall, building activity was valued at $31.77 million compared to $51.33 million in 2019. The highest value in the last 6 years was in 2018 at $60.18 million. The figures were $44.68 million in 2017, $33.67 million in 2016, and $42.94 million in 2015. I think the numbers reflect the uncertain marketplace largely brought on by the coronavirus pandemic, speculated Mayor Ann Wollmer Benjamin. The biggest decline last year was in the industrial project category, with only a value of $1.82 million compared to $18.22 million in 2019. Previous figures were $18.64 million in 2018, $11.69 million in 2016, $6.79 million in 2016, and $14.95 million in 2015. Expansions that were anticipated earlier in the year were delayed or canceled, with many employees working from home and the need for additional space being reevaluated by companies, said Warmer Benjamin. We have several expansions expected in 2021. Prior years saw significant expansions and new buildings in the industrial park for Piping Rock, McMaster-Carr, Trelleborg, and Pyrotech, to name a few. Residential building projects were down more than $4 million at $26.29 million compared to $30.8 million in 2019, $27.79 million in 2017, $26.03 million in 2016, and $21.85 million in 2015. We expect an increase in residential construction this year with the Pulte development in the Geauga Lake area moving forward, said the mayor. Commercial projects rose slightly to $3.66 million from $2.3 million in 2019. Previous figures were $3.4 million in 2018, $5.2 million in 2017, $843,315 in 2016, and $6.1 million in 2015. There were only 4 industrial building permits applied for last year. There were an addition at Roebuck on Lena Drive at $850,000, a Pulte's Home Pump Station on Squires Road at $557,040, a racking system at Piping Rock on Lena Drive at $300,000, and conveyors at McMaster-Carr at $110,000. Leading the list of 19 commercial building permits was Pulte Homes, $1.9 million 5-unit townhouse, followed by a $600,000 addition at Anna Maria and a $180,000 pavilion at the Hawthorne Apartments. $177,171 in fire repairs at the Aurora Inn, $176,438 in interior alterations at American Eagle, $175,000 in interior alterations at the Hawthorne Clubhouse, and $165,000 in interior alterations at CVS Pharmacy. Smaller commercial projects took place at Anna Maria, Aurora High, the City of Aurora, Ohio Artisan Collective, Deming Financial, Olszewski's, Tide Cleaners, Munn Chiropractic, McDonald's Aurora Nutrition, Aurora Animal Care, and Charm Salon. In 2020, new single-family home constructions, 36 permits issued, was valued at $18.4 million, and 8 condominium units were valued at $3.06 million. The value of other categories of construction were additions, $1.53 million, alterations, $1.3 million, garages, $197,150, decks, $903,486, utility buildings, $382,164, in-ground pools, $515,355, above-ground pools, $282,907, and other, $74,248. A total of 784 licenses were issued, and city workers made 3,857 total inspections in 2020, including 3,450 at residences and 407 at commercial industrial facilities. Building department revenue in 2020 was $898,428 compared to $1.43 million in 2019. The breakdown of revenue was $379,399 for building permits, $78,400 for licenses, $59,473 for miscellaneous, $39,205 for impact fees, $2,377 in state fees, $75,800 in completion deposits, and $430,000 in topography deposits. The balance of completion deposits was $37,600 as of December 31st, 2020, and the balance of topography deposits was $345,000. For the last quarter of 2020, October through December, projects for which building permits were issued were valued at $10.17 million. That breakdown is $6.4 million for residential, $2.91 million for commercial, and $857,040 for industrial. I hope you guys got all that because there'll be a quiz at the end. Moving on. The Falcons Like It When a Plan Comes Together by Tom Nader. A basketball team's huddle during a timeout can be a chaotic place. A finite amount of time is crammed with directions, instructions, and scenarios centered around if this, then that ideas. Words are flying quickly from multiple voices, crowded thoughts that seem coherent but can sometimes be confusing, all in hopes of perfect execution. And that is when you might be winning comfortably. Consider the same sequence but amplified by a tight score and very little time left on the clock. If you are a former or current player or coach, the thought probably has you a bit anxious, even as you read this. Then there is Jimmy Coltrona. The Field Boys basketball junior, 5'7" guard, found himself immersed in just that kind of situation last Friday in a Metro Athletic Conference matchup with Springfield. His Falcons were deadlocked 43-43 with the Spartans, with only 1 second remaining on the clock. The Spartans had just missed a free throw, and Field called a quick timeout, but there was not enough time to advance the ball, meaning the Falcons would have the ball near the far hash coming out of the timeout, about 70 feet from the basket. First-year head coach Derek Whittock used his timeout to draw up 2 options. Amidst the chaos, Coltrona found calm. "Sounds like a plan, Coach," Coltrona said just before the huddle broke. "The plan?" "We drew it up for a screen and release to try to get the ball to Jake Gartner, but Springfield backed off its pressure," Whittock said. "Probably because we were in the double bonus, and the game had been called pretty tight. We had Braxton Baumberger inbound the ball because he has a cannon for an arm and knew he could throw the long pass if we needed it. In the huddle, we said that if Jake is not open, then get the ball to Jimmy at half court. We told Jimmy, catch the ball, take a shot, and win the game. Sounds like a plan is right." Gartner, the Falcons' leading scorer this season, truly never fully committed to the screen and release because Springfield shaded multiple defenders to him. Baumberger looked down the court towards the basket for as long as he could commit without being assessed a 5-second penalty, then made the pass to Coltrona, who actually caught the ball far further back from half court than Whittock had anticipated. Coltrona turned to the basket and quickly heaved a 70-foot shot that turned into a miracle. The ball arched, then rattled home to lift the Falcons to the unthinkable 46-43 victory. "I was in total shock, to be honest," Coltrona said. "I could not believe that the shot actually went in. It was a once-in-a-lifetime moment and something I will remember for the rest of my life." So will Whittock and every other member of the Falcons team. "I'm still not sure that it's sunk in for me," said Whittock, who said the only other miracle buzzer beater win he can remember was from back when he was a high school senior with Rootstown, when teammate Kenny White sunk a triple to defeat Newton Falls during the 2005-2006 season. "And as great as that was, I hardly remember the details from that." This shot won't be like that. I will remember it forever. I will remember all of the details forever, and I will remember that Jimmy was the one to do it. Jimmy was the one that gave us that memory. I could not be happier for him to have that moment for the rest of his life. The celebration was immediate and carried into the locker room, where Wuddock said he was carrying Coltrona on his shoulder at one point and was laying on his back on the floor in disbelief at another point before senior Cam Woolwind came to lift him back to his feet. As much as the shot and the moment most certainly deserved an extra level of pandemonium, you would think that Field is used to it by now. Just in the last 2 years, the Falcons have now connected on 3 buzzer beaters from 3/4 court. 3! Gartner owns the other 2, hitting the first on December 6th last season at Streetsboro. His second came this season on December 4th versus Woodridge, just before the buzzer sounded for halftime. Furthermore, Gartner hit a half-court buzzer beater at Springfield last season and a deep volleyball line three-pointer to beat the clock this season at Southeast. None of them were game winners, but shots that beat the odds for sure. Coltrona's shot defied the odds, but he admitted that something felt different about the shot, even from the moment he released it. Sometimes you can see the flight of a shot and feel good about it. This was a shot that I thought looked good from the start, Coltrona said. I could tell it was online, but it kind of felt like it was going to be short. Once I caught the ball so far back, I didn't think I had the strength to get the shot all the way there. When it went in, all I can say is that I was shocked. What a plan indeed. Well done, Falcons. Portage County Crime Reports. And you know, crime reports are a sampling of incidences responded to by local law enforcement agencies, not intended to be all-inclusive. In Kent, Carl S. Darty, 47 of Akron, was charged with 4th-degree felony safecracking following an alleged January 23rd incident at a South Water Street service station. Darty was arraigned in Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna on Friday and released on a personal bond. Nelson Township. James H. LaHood, 31 of Westlake, was charged with 5th-degree felony drug possession, operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol and prohibited blood alcohol content, both first-degree misdemeanors, and minor misdemeanor failure to control after he crashed his vehicle on Route 422 eastbound at about 11:30 p.m. on Tuesday, and a prescription stimulant that was allegedly found in his possession, and his BAC allegedly measured at 0.133%, higher than the 0.08% legal limit. LaHood is scheduled for arraignment in Portage County Municipal Court on Monday. In Ravenna, a Willoughby woman, 54, a Virginia woman, 25, and a Youngstown woman, 22, were all charged with 3rd-degree misdemeanor soliciting after they allegedly tried to solicit an undercover Portage County Sheriff's detective for sex at an Oakwood Street park on Thursday. All 3 women were arraigned in Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna on Friday. The Willoughby woman was released on a 10% of $5,000 bond. The Youngstown woman on a 10% of a $4,000 bond, and the Virginia woman on a personal bond. James V. Butler, 29 of Cleveland, was charged with 5th-degree felony drug possession after he was allegedly found in possession of a drug pipe containing a substance that tested positive as cocaine at an Oakwood Street park on Thursday. Butler was arraigned in Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna on Friday and released on a personal bond. And now for that quiz on the Aurora building projects. Oh, so sorry. We're out of time. And that concludes the reading of the Record Courier for Tuesday, February 2nd. My name is Pam. Thank you for inviting me into your home today. Please stay safe until we are here together again. Be greatly blessed and make it a great day.